I think it's incomprehensible that the estate agency industry is not licensed. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, there's always a danger of being over-licensed and over-regulated, like the financial services sector. But for people that are tasked with looking after people's biggest asset, and that's a cliche, but it's true, the fact that you can be a carpenter or a taxi driver on a Monday and set up as an estate agent the next day with no checks and balances, no hoops that you have to jump through, either regulatory, although obviously there are some regs, we know there are, consumer protection regs, Estate Agents Act and so on. The Estate Agents Act now is 40 years old. It's not been amended for 40 years. And the fact that not just the regulation oversight doesn't really exist, notwithstanding the good work that the Ombudsman does and PRS and so on before the comments start flying. But it's not just regulation in terms of compliance. To me, it's a knowledge problem. Now, I reckon, and I'm quite happy to be tested on this, ask 100 estate agents basic questions about estate agency rules, regs, law, and so on that benefit the consumer. A large proportion would not know the answer.
I'd agree with that.
As in putting offers forward, timely fashion, in writing, and so on. Only not do so in certain circumstances. You know, are you allowed to do what some of the big corporates do? Of course, still being reported, where they're forcing mortgage referrals, conveyancing referrals on consumers and so on. There's a whole bunch of things that I think the estate agency sector is largely ignorant on, because there is no licensing, and because licensing, if it were to exist, should also include knowledge tests and have teeth, on the basis that if you're a bad agent, if you do bad things, you should absolutely be thrown out of the industry, or at least suspended from the industry. The fact that we don't have that in place, I think, is absolutely scandalous.
And why don't we, do you think?
Why don't we? Because the government have no appetite.
Because we've been talking about this from...
Well, can I tell you what, I won't mention his name,
life.
what a former minister told me. He said, it doesn't win votes.